Great rise and beautiful beings, great rise and beautiful beings. Let's talk about being a slave on a space station. You know how they be like, all these children, all these people popping up missing. And they say organ harvesting, and all this and that. Yeah, that's true. It's a market for it. But it's also a market to have you living in space on the space stations. When they come up with new drugs and stuff, that shit ain't for us. New vitamins and minerals, that's to keep them people alive at them space stations. Out of them artificial lights, them artificial elements, them artificial circumstances. Remember back in the day when I was like between the ages of 6 and 12, they had a brown cable box when cable like first came out. It was a brown cable box with red numbers on it, and it only went up to 99, but you didn't even get 99 channels. You would get like HBO 1, HBO 2, the sports station, Showtime, Stars, stuff like that. I don't even think they had ESPN back then. I think they had sports on certain stations, but they didn't have like a sports station like ESPN when cable first came out. Well, anyway, back in the day they had experimental shows, experimental movies. And they had a movie on Showtime. It was between 30 minutes or an hour. And they would show weird shit. And you would think they would just be acting. But I don't think they was acting. I think that these people were actually on a spaceship. Like, when Lady Gaga came to be, every time all I do is think about this show on Showtime. Remember, these are experimental. They show it and just have you confused. Like, what the fuck? What the fuck just happened? You know? And they'll never show it again. Or they'll show it the whole week and they'll never show it again. Well, anyway, they was on the space station. And they was raised there. They were born there. But they had all these TVs showing that if you do good, you exercise every day, you brush your teeth every day, you do your homework every day, you'll have the opportunity to go to Earth. But what they were showing them was, remember I was a little girl, I'll never forget this shit. They were showing celebrities, someone that resembled Lady Gaga before Lady Gaga even existed. She would be on stage singing, and it would be like hundreds of thousands of people rooting them on like an idol, right? And it was this one black guy, and he was either from the UK or Africa, but he spoke English, and he would exercise every day. He would do his chores every day on the space station, and they would always show the videos, and he said he wanted to be a rapper. So finally he built up enough points. Okay, they on a point system too. They was on a point system. He built up enough points, and he did enough treadmill, enough exercise, enough everything to go perform to the judges on the space station. Now, not a spaceship, a space station. It's a fixed location in space where people live. And they were wearing spacesuits like the Jetsons or something. Like space clothes. And he went in the room and he did his rap. And they said, you don't qualify to go to Earth to perform. They never planned on letting him leave in the first place. But I'll never forget that woman on stage He would see all these people performing on Earth. And being able to draw the crowd, and the judges told him, no, you don't qualify to go to Earth. So I got a feeling that they don't have to just do things in underground bunkers. They don't have to just do things in secret caves and caverns and shit like that. They doing shit in outer space. They got them space stations up there, and they got these people living, and they show you that bullshit with 3, 4 people, 5 people, 6 people from NASA in a small little space station. No, they got whole fucking cities and villages up there. Been up there since the fucking 70s. If not longer. All that abduction, organ harvesting. Remember I kept saying, why do they keep killing the planet and then want to give us substitute minerals and shit like in pill form? They act like we on a space station. Like we got to take all this synthetic stuff to live when we actually had the living shit right here. We are the test subjects for their prototypes. If they get a bunch of goons to fuck us over, imagine that. Imagine you living on a space station your whole life. And all they do is keep showing you on TV how the surface walkers on Earth are corrupt and destroying the planet, right? And it's so taboo, like, them motherfuckers like, ooh, I don't want to go down there. The air contaminated. Ooh, I don't want to go down there. The water contaminated. Ooh, I don't want to go down there. Like, we're subjects to keep them healthy up there. And then imagine if they're looking at the TV screen and the TV screen is explaining how this country is causing war, how they're tearing up the rainforest, and how they tearing up the Amazon, and how they doing this and how they doing that, right? Peep gang. They're super soldiers. They're going to be so ready to come down and fight. Got the same genetics and everything as us. But they're so disconnected from nature, they don't know what the fuck that is, right? So they would come down and annihilate us and be brainwashed and believing that we're the one fucking up the planet. When we did not organize the agenda to dig up the gold, to dig up the diamonds, to dig up the oil, to dig up the lithium. Like, we not smart enough to go blow up the ocean. So, but they would look at us, they would paint a picture to the people that's living in the space stations. They would paint a picture that we are destroying the planet. And we need to be annihilated. Be careful now. All the missing people might not be the subject to organ harvesting, human trafficking. They might be slaves in outer space. Or they might be brainwashed and don't even know it. Been up there their whole life, don't know nothing else. And of course they're going to have other studies they do on them. I'm just saying, they're going to have specific ones where they program that we're such bad people. It ain't no different than the police officer. They show the police officer a million ways he could get fucked up on the job, right? Then when he get out on the job, he trigger happy. He's scary. He paranoid. Same goes with the motherfuckers they raising in space. And they ain't that far. It's probably no more than about 50 miles above. 50 to 25 miles above us. Okay, up there. And not no outer space. They up there in the space station above us. Well, anyway. It's another movie I want to talk about real quick. But remember what I said about they could train police, military, goon squad, secret ops, and they'll program them with all these movies and all these situations that other people went through. And say, don't take them for granted. Don't look at them as nice. It's no different than the people that had the bomb on them, the children. Like, oh my God, it's a child with a bomb on them. But they done brainwashed this child to blow you to smithereens. You see what I'm saying? So, of course, they're going to have different projects and stuff and different agendas. But they're going to have that select group where they just say, they're destroying Earth. That's going to be the whole message. They're destroying Earth. We got to go down there and save it. Yeah. Your cousin from another gene pool or from a cloning center or some bullshit. Probably never heard the word soul, celestial, spirit, none of that. None of it. Breath, brethren, don't know nothing about it. Just know we down here destroying the planet and they got to come annihilate us. Okay, last example. It's a movie where they was locking people up in Oregon, like the world had went to shits. Or it's a TV show, I'm not sure. The world had went to shits. They had AI and all types of shit, scoping shit out, like drones and stuff. And then they found this family, this Mexican and this white guy. And they locked them up. But they didn't lock them up in a prison on planet Earth. They locked them up in a prison on the moon. And one white boy started bleeding from the nose. And they offed him. They deleted him. He showed a side effect that he wouldn't be able to sustain life on the moon. But the Mexican guy survived. And it's so creepy because instead of the Mexican guy looking out the window at night, seeing the moon, he was looking out the window seeing planet Earth. I forget the name of that TV show or movie. So while you think you subject to being dispersed across the country across the continents to be a slave, oh, they got another idea for your motherfucking ass. Imagine this. You want to get rid of rich people. So rich people buying tickets to go to the moon, tickets to go to Mars, tickets to go to outer space. They want to get rid of rich and wealthy people just as much as they want to get rid of Goyim, the lesser, the bottom feeders, the surface walkers. They want to get rid of them just as much because if they ever come to reality with that much money that they're being fucked over or left behind, they're going to off them too. So just because the rich people going out of space, their money don't fucking matter up there. Because once they detach from Earth with the resources, they don't matter up there. See, if they up there and they not being dealt with, like, or deleted, they're the enemy, they're the part of the problem. And what that means is they're going up there because they willing to convince other people to go up there and be slaves and stuff. The same way they want you to mine resources down here, the same way if you go to any planet up there, they want you to mine resources up there too. So you're just another slave. So if they take a rich person from down here or a wealthy person from down here and don't delete them, and they let them go back home to their resources on planet Earth, and they let them go back up there and they let them go back and forth, that's because they down with the get down. It ain't no different than investing on prisoners to be rappers. It ain't no different than using prisoners. You let them out to go do your dirty work, and then they go back to the prison and live like they never went out the damn prison to do nothing. It ain't no different than an alien coming up from an underground cavern and fighting some parasite that it don't like on the planet and going back to where it come from. It ain't no different. The game is the motherfucking game. This shit is realer than you motherfucking think. So just be mindful of that. You got to think about underwater bunkers. You got to think about outer space bunkers. You got to think about cavern bunkers. You got to think about sleeper cells. It's so much shit you got to think about. It's here. If you can imagine it, it's fucking real. If you can think it, there's nothing under the sun that ain't already been thought out, been done, or doing right now. You should really watch that TV show where that Mexican got locked up and that white man got locked up, and that white man nose started bleeding and they deleted his ass, and the Mexican didn't have any side effects, so he became a slave working on the moon. Like, they didn't lock him up on planet Earth. And same goes with that show. Over 20 years ago, probably about 25 years ago, 23 years ago, on Showtime. They had these little short movies, and they did not call them experimental movies. I just know it's experimental movies, just like experimental music. They were experimental movies to see people's reaction. And they had them people living on that space station and would not let them come to planet Earth. But they made sure they showed them over and over and over what people were doing on planet Earth. They were eager to go to Earth. They were eager to be around civilization. But they didn't know nothing else. All they knew: eat, sleep, shit, exercise, practice your talent. It was about talent. That's another thing I wanted to say. I feel like you got these people up on these space stations and shit, and if they got good talent, you let them come down, but you drug them, you MK Ultra them, you clone. It's so much you do to them, and you allow them to be down here. But they really ain't got no friends and family down here. They come from somewhere else. And when they want to delete their image, they go right back up to that space station and watch all the people tweets and messages and fan mail. Yeah. Like, wow, so many people love me when I'm dead, but they didn't love me when I was alive. Yeah, they get the chance to see it. It's sad. It's sad. Ain't no different than heaven and hell. Shit. Well, I'm going to leave it there. I just thought I would let y'all know. Submarines and space stations. Submarines and space stations. There's actually like civilization under the ocean some fucking where. It might not be on our same frequency. Oh, that's one more thing I wanted to say. Imagine this. They call us children here. Even the most superb grown people, shadow worker ass people, elite ass mind motherfuckers, I mean, beyond Bill Gates bullshit. Okay, these motherfuckers is thoroughbred. I run this. I manipulate this. I make the dominoes fall the way I want them to fall, right? Now, peep game. Now, we down here in the elements on the 3D, right? Spiritually, we might be on the 5D, but with our physical vessels, we vibrating on 3 and 4D, right? Peep game, our astral body vibrating on about 6D. Okay? Our oversoul vibrating on like 7 or 9D, right? Okay, now peep game. Like Hiroshima, right? The other chambers felt it. Like people from the 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th, and 13th chamber, they felt it. That's why they warned them and said, don't you ever do it again. Yeah, some boss-ass aliens came down and put their ass in check. Because they're children. Children down here experiment with the elements. We were just dumb enough to allow them to say, oh, that's illegal. You can't do this. You can't do that unless you're under our supervision, right? Which is pretty fucked up. Okay? Now, peep game. So, when they blast the ocean in 3D, what is it affecting other than the living and breathing people on the planet, the water, the fish, the whales, the sea creatures? What else is it affecting? Why do they feel like they could blast a hole in 3D and it will affect the people in 60, 70, 80, 90, and so on? Why are they doing 3D shit and think that it's gonna change the vibratory rate of the shit that's on 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10D? You never thought about that? Just like CERN. You got CERN in 3D on our vibratory rate. And then you use this quantum electric field or quantum magnetism, electromagnetism, to open up portals. But they do actually have portals. Don't get it twisted. Even though they dumped our vessels down, that don't mean they dumbed the planet down. See, you can only dumb the planet down so far before we'll automatically just fall. Because we don't have enough chi and prana running through us to keep us stable. So, when they do 3D shit, who the fuck you think they really interfering with? Think about all the Tinkerbells and all the glowing butterflies and shit. All the 13-mile ropes in the fucking air and the fucking big megalithic butterflies and shit on another frequency. What they're doing is they're fucking up our frequency so that we can't ascend. It does interfere with other chambers and the other parallels, but not enough to cause them to fall like fallen angels. The only people that it caused to fall is us and the vibratory rate that we're on, that we project the planet. The vibratory rate that we're on, that we project the planet, it just keep the planet at a certain vibratory rate so we can't ascend. This ain't for everybody. This ain't for the weak. This for the motherfuckers that know. So everything here is hypothetically, theoretically, allegedly. Hopefully you learned something from this. Hopefully you share this video with someone who needs to, need a lending ear, But I just thought I would remind y'all that everything they do is to keep us here. That's the real race. It's not skin tone. The real race is to make it seem like we're not allowed to dibble and dab with these experiments. You got to be under some type of government protocol. So I'm going to leave it there. Remember, I am doing a raffle on my home. It's legit. It's real. I want this to be successful. It will be great in my portfolio, my business portfolio. Okay? So, let's get it in. Let's get it in. Let's get it in. You may not want it. You may not want to be in Florida. But at least put some raffle tickets in for someone that you know could use a home. That's the way I see it. Maybe you don't need it. Maybe you don't want to risk it. But risk it on somebody else. It's somebody out there that actually need a home, want a place to stay, need a blessing. On a collective level, you will be blessing somebody. That's all I got to say. Okay, so Unearth the Magic. And if you would like a tarot reading, by all means, check out the links in the description. For now, Unearth the Magic. The truth will definitely set you free. Wow.